Again.
Hi, everyone. Andrew and I were just sitting here reflecting on what's been happening for us this week. And I was talking about a couple of things that have come up for me. And one of the things, I had a really big workshop on Wednesday for the first time that I had put together totally on my own, and had been working on this in using a profiling tool that I've been getting accredited and learning over the last 2.5 years. And it went really well. So Wednesday, I felt really accomplished at the end of the day, or after the session. And I felt really good about it. It's like, yeah, this is a validation of the planning and everything that I'd put together and the hard work I'd done through all this time. And then I woke up on Thursday morning and I didn't feel like anything had improved. I just felt like, oh, what am I doing? It was just, I went back to this hollow feeling again. I had this feeling in my chest. So I did a lot of walking and breathing and thinking about it, and some YouTubing, and then came up, and then through the day it progressively made its way out of my body, I guess, if you want to say that. And I started to look back at a couple of things that I'm studying, and one of them is responsibility. And I was like, okay, so I'm taking responsibility about how I'm feeling. And then late yesterday and this morning, I was thinking of the connectedness with resilience, which is where our conversation led earlier this afternoon. And in talking with you today, one of the things, as you shared stuff with me as well, is that the feeling of resilience wasn't, well, hey, I was resilient about this particular thing. It dawned on me that I'm more resilient internally. So therefore, whatever the outside world is going to send my way, I can handle it in a different sense. So one of the examples was on late Tuesday afternoon, I was preparing for my workshop on Wednesday, and my internet went out. So the old me would have ranted and raved and screamed over the phone at the support people, and we know they're only doing a job, but there are some triggering words that they use. And I didn't do that.
We're sorry you feel that way.
Yeah, I totally understand your situation. And I even had that conversation. I said, man, you don't understand my situation. I have to move to another premise tomorrow to do my workshop. But anyway, he was doing a great job, and I thanked him for his perseverance. It didn't get fixed, and I had to find somewhere else to run my workshop. But all through those times, and through Tuesday night and Wednesday and through my session, I was quite calm. It was like, this is something that's happening, but that's okay. I have this internal resilience now. And as I was saying to you, it's almost like a shield around you that if whatever that's getting thrown at you just bounces off. You recognize it and you deal with it, but you deal with it at a different level.
And I've had a very similar thing happen. So if I take a step back, season 2 for us is we've harvested the lesson of season 1, which is really about working within ourselves to process what's happened to us externally and to reap the lessons from that for our own internal being. And then season 2 was all then about how do we take that new sense of working within ourselves to create what we want to in life. And this is, I think, for us quite a milestone event, because both of us in our own ways are recognizing that we're taking our own inner being forward and looking at the external world in a different way. So I thought before we started this a bit like Kevin, which was that, well, this would mean then, okay, I'm good within myself now. So I can go now and start doing stuff in the world and creating what I want, relationships, finances, creative projects, whatever I want, and it'll all just magically happen. And, for a period of time, it didn't. Everything was quiet and still, and nothing happened. And so what I noticed was that your mind can start projecting on the external world all the things that you lack within, and can tell you all these stories about what you're not doing and who you're not and all of this stuff. And then I just had, it's been building and building as I'm working on myself over the last few weeks, but I had this really strong shift this week where I realized, just like Kevin, that the only point of control we have is the inner plane. The only point of changing our world, changing the external world, is by giving the thing that we need to ourselves, by recognizing that we actually are able to, our desires are true and our desires are listened to, but that to truly create what we want in life, we have to be able to work within ourselves to create that. We can never look on the outside for it to make us feel better about ourselves. That's our responsibility and our job. And all the outside is a mirror to the work that you haven't done, or it's a mirror to the work that you have done. And so I guess our weeks have been examples of that. So I have started now working in this phase 2 of my life, as I want to create what I create, by giving to myself what I want to create, giving myself the love like I already have it, giving myself the permission to be creative like I am, and giving myself the permission to be abundant within myself, and already feeling like that's who I am, not expecting it to be on the outside for it to be right, like to actually truly. And the thing I've learned, and I've said this a couple of times through season 1, was, and I never really truly understood it until this week, it's deepened a whole lot more, is it's got to be authentic. You can't even say to yourself, oh, Andrew and Kevin said it on their podcast, so I'm just going to pretend that I'm going to like tell myself that I deserve all this shit and it's going to work. You have to genuinely, in your heart, in all your soul, believe that you're entitled to that and you are okay with it. And once you are, that's when it shifts. And it's a real step.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to sort of, so back to this resilience shield is what the way it feels to me is, it's in my heart, is that I feel a disconnection, a detachment from everything that's going on out in the world. And it's not that I'm not, it's an interesting feeling. It's not that it's not a lack of care. I absolutely care about my family, my kids, the people I love. I care that it's a sunny day, it's beautiful. I want to engage with all those things, but I'm not relying on those to be okay within myself.
Yeah.
I'm giving that to myself first, and then it feels like that's my primary job.
Yeah, that's a good point. For me, what I've been realizing this over the last period of time, but it's having that internal resilience, because things are not always going to go the way that you want them to go. There's always going to be ups and downs, and building that internal resilience then gives you, whatever you want to call it, the armor. It gives you the strength to be able to deal with those and continue doing what you're doing, and not use those as an excuse to stop doing or defer, or make an excuse not to go ahead with whatever. So that's where I've got to, particularly this morning, was like, I love my life, and I know there's going to be challenges, and I'm actually quite proud of the way that I've worked through this week and got to the situation that, or the position that I feel myself in. It's just such a, what was the word I used? Accomplished feeling.
The thing that I can observe within you that's really different to even when I met you was that when we used to assess our weeks, you would tell me about the roller coaster of things that went up and down, and things that you liked and you didn't like, essentially. And now when you talk about your week, and that's just because of, I think, what we've been through and the journey we've been through, but you talk about what you're learning.
Yeah.
And you talk about the shift within you as being the good thing.
Yeah. The roller coaster.
You're not going, because the roller coaster for both of us.
The roller coaster is still there.
It's just still there. Right?
Like
it just keeps going and
Yeah.
up and down. But we're not personalized. We're not projecting our own worth into the roller coaster.
Yeah.
We're actually just working within us to create who we are and our sense of self, and then that will keep, and that will, I think, project to the outside eventually. But we can,
and that's what I said at the beginning when we were talking on our own was, you talked about stage 2 for us, and it's so much easier to be looking at the stuff that's going that I'm doing in a good way, that I'm actually working with, and dealing with whatever's coming up. So, and you're right. It is a mind shift, because it's a focus on, hey, there's so many good things that I want to embrace, and I'll embrace those. And if the bad things or something difficult comes along, well, I'll deal with that as it comes, and that's okay. Not end up in using it as an excuse to stop doing something or ranting and raving.
Yeah, so I think I would encourage the listener, as you're pondering, as you're walking or you're in your car or wherever you are listening to this, to think about to what extent in your own life your sense of self is dependent on the external world to being it how you need it to be. And not to beat yourself up about that, but that if all the things you were looking for in the external world you could give to yourself internally, how that might change your life, how that might change your behavior patterns, how that might change your habits. And so you're not going to go out to the external world to fix, to fixate, to focus, to try and make everything the way you need it to be, because you already are whole within yourself. And see how that changes the way you go about achieving your goals and your desires in your life.
Until next time. Bye for now.
Bye.